Tennessee beat Indiana 23-22 in the Gator Bowl. And it was I don't know, I want to say it was a wild game, but wild is not really the right way to put it because, the end of the game was wild. How about that? The last, 8 minutes of the game were really wild, but honestly, the first 3 quarters of the game were very boring. It was like 9-6 at halftime. Tennessee and Indiana are both, I think, highly flawed football teams with really, I have we have a lot to say about this game. First of all, Indiana has this quarterback named Peyton Ramsey, named after Peyton Manning. And he's such a scrappy quarterback. He doesn't have a great arm. He plays really ugly. But I respect the way that Peyton Ramsey plays quarterback. He fights so hard, and he's crafty. I just think the way he runs the ball and the way he's able to scramble and extend plays, it's because of his mechanics, Peyton Ramsey has a weaker arm. He doesn't separate the ball very well. He kind of pushes the ball away. He doesn't use his core or his legs to generate force. But his ability to run around and escape the pocket and keep plays alive is a big reason why Indiana was able to put a lot of points on the board, 22 points, in fact, against Tennessee, and against a team that physically was really, they were outmatched against Tennessee's defensive line. The guy was running for his life, Peyton Ramsey was, and he still found a way to put points on the board. It was really, really cool. But here's the crazy part of the game. I talked about how the last 8 minutes, I guess really 7 minutes, 7 minutes and 7 seconds were incredible for this game. Indiana led 22-9 with 7 minutes and 6 seconds left in the game. And then Tennessee had this crazy sequence where they scored 14 points in 30 seconds, took the lead, and never looked back. For a long time in this game, Tennessee struggled to throw the ball. They were all over the place. They even took their quarterback out of the game at one point. But finally, and this one moment with 7 minutes left, they went on a stretch. They completed a bunch of passes in a row, put together a good drive. They scored a touchdown to make it 22-16. Then they got the onside kick, and in 2 more plays, they led 23-22. My biggest takeaway from this game is, number one, I'm so happy for Tennessee. This comeback was wild and crazy and fun, and it was like a party because it felt like it was a home game for Tennessee. Their entire fan base seemed to be there in Jacksonville, Florida at this game. And, man, it was so loud. Whenever Indiana needed a big play, like 3rd and 10 or 3rd and whatever, it got really loud because there were so many Tennessee fans there. But my biggest takeaway from this game is that the way that Tennessee handles quarterbacks is terrible. It's just awful. And I don't know if this is because they have a defensive-minded head coach, Jeremy Pruitt, who is really a defensive coordinator at heart. And I'm not sure who to blame. I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator's fault or if it's the quarterback coach's fault. But the way that Tennessee handles their quarterbacks is so problematic. It's not good. It doesn't instill confidence in quarterbacks. And I know this. I know that injuries or not, Tennessee's played 4 different quarterbacks at times this year. And Jarrett Garantano? I'm so sorry. It's funny, I, until this moment, have not ever had a hard time saying his name, but I think I'm kind of have some stage fright. Garantano he's the quarterback for Tennessee. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering his name. I apologize. I know his name. I've never said it out loud before. He's their most established quarterback, though, and he has this huge arm, but he has awful timing. His timing is so bad. He's so consistently late throwing a football, and it, to me, feels like Jarrett, will look at a receiver. He won't quite trust it. He always hesitates. Then he throws the ball late. His timing is terrible. He has bad footwork, which makes him more inaccurate. And he's got this really big arm. Arm strength is there. The talent is there. But I don't think that the coaching staff at Tennessee is really instilling a lot of confidence in this quarterback. The way that they handle quarterbacks is so bizarre to me. At one point, the guy threw 2 interceptions. He had a pick 6, and they benched him. They took him out of the game. Their established starting quarterback, and they put in a freshman, Brian Maurer. And Maurer led them down the field, had a long field goal drive, and then suddenly out of nowhere, they put Garantano back in the game. And there was a lot of weirdness to this whole thing. It was very expectations are clearly not well defined for Tennessee's offense. I don't think quarterbacks really understand what's expected of them very well. They all literally, their faces all look terrified when they look at the sideline as if they're afraid they're going to get pulled or benched or yelled at or something. I think that the quarterback coaching and the way of handling quarterbacks is really, really terrible in Tennessee. There's something off. It's not quite right the way they handle the situations and handle the quarterbacks. They're clearly not well coached because they all have terrible timing. They make bad decisions. The coach helping them needs to be fired. He needs to do better because the guy they have isn't working. And there are rumors that Garantano is going to transfer. I hope he does. I really hope he gets better coaching. He needs help because the talent is there, but he needs a coach who can sharpen up his skill set and give him clearer expectations, because what's happening in Tennessee right now is not good enough. Tennessee needs a better, again, whether it's the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach, whoever handles and manages the quarterbacks in Tennessee is doing a horrible, horrible job. I've kind of watched that situation from afar. This is the first time I've watched an entire Tennessee game. I watched parts of them. But every time I watch Tennessee football, their quarterbacks are bad. And this situation in particular, the way they've handled quarterbacks is like, these guys all look terrified for their lives. And it's clear to me there's some kind of unhealthy discomfort with the way that Tennessee handles and relates to their quarterbacks.